Only Milim, Obera, and Esprit remained on the sidelines. Aren't you going? To be honest, I don't think I'm skilled enough. It's safer for me to observe the battle carefully and provide support to someone else. If I push myself too hard and end up losing, I'll only be a burden. You're right. Underestimating the insect generals can lead to trouble. Though I don't have much experience fighting them, I know they shouldn't be taken lightly. In fact, many of Obera's friends had lost their lives to the insectors. Zess, the one Carrera was headed towards, was rumored to be a formidable opponent even for Zelario. Ober herself couldn't be certain if she could defeat him. Thus, the 3 remaining members decided to wait and assess the progress of the battle. Carrera, leading the charge, was the first to engage the enemy. A nuisance, she declared, swiftly dispatching a group of enemies as she traversed the battlefield. At the far end, she aimed her golden gun at the composed Zess. However, Zess effortlessly evaded the attack. Even a supersonic bullet fired at close range was nothing more than a trivial toy to him. Not bad, Carrera remarked, transforming her golden gun into a military sword with a golden blade. I'm Carrera, the one who will take your life. Nonsense. Such jests will have to wait until I'm on my feet. And so, the battle began. Frey leaped into action simultaneously with Carrera. Without waiting for orders, the soaring flock surrounded her. Milim's guards followed suit. While their primary role was not solely to protect Milim, it didn't pose a problem as their roles shifted during wartime. Kicking the flying insects aside, Frey engaged Torun. Torun, an insect general, had a shiny metallic exoskeleton that served as his defense. He was bulky and not particularly intelligent, but he shouldn't be underestimated. Using his 2 pairs of wings like a dragonfly, he exhibited remarkable aerial maneuverability. Frey soon realized the trouble Torun posed when he evaded her initial attack just as she thought she had landed a hit. Torun effortlessly dodged her claws while remaining airborne. Thanks to their contrasting flight styles, Torun seemed to have the advantage in aerial combat, his compound eyes capturing Frey's movements as if they were in slow motion. Although Torun was slower in a straight line, he could easily predict Frey's movements, making evasion effortless. Torun lacked any special abilities, but his power lay in his sturdy exoskeleton, future prediction, and flight speed. Frey, who intended to swiftly eliminate the enemy general, was about to face a major miscalculation. However, Torun made a mistake at this point. You're slow and fast. This single comment triggered Frey's temper. Milim would have something to say about this later. Frey was far from mild-mannered. Anyone who made foolish remarks would quickly learn the consequences firsthand. Milim's words held weight due to her frequent scolding. Torun would soon experience the meaning of those words firsthand. Gabil followed Frey, accompanied by her Uu. Listen up, everyone. The enemy we're facing is an insector, the same species as Zigendono and Apidodono. You all know how strong they can be, so don't let your guard down. Kakishin, Sukaru, and Yashichi followed Gabil as he used his breath to sweep away the swarm of insects filling the sky. Hey, Gabil-sama, are you going to assist Frey-sama? If she's in trouble, I'll gladly lend a hand. Gabil-sama, there's someone over there who looks dangerous. Yes, he bears a resemblance to Apidodono, but there's a more malicious presence about him. Gabil's instincts warned him. This guy is dangerous. The creature in question was Beathop, an insect general with attributes of both a bee and a grasshopper. Gabil was uncertain about what to do. Even if it were only himself, he was responsible for the lives of his subordinates. Rimuru had instructed him not to die, so he felt it would be unwise to engage in a battle he couldn't win. Despite getting caught up in Karian's and Midley's enthusiasm earlier, Gabil wasn't much of a fighter. He had wanted to test his skills as a warrior but had no desire to fight for his life. Besides, if I were to get seriously injured here, Sauka might ignore me. Last time, I made her cry, and it took a lot of effort to change her mood. Gabil lamented the bitter memories. Battle compatibility existed, so there was no need to relinquish the advantage of flight. There was no need to challenge a dangerous opponent here, he could find an easier foe to defeat. Gabil thought so and attempted to locate another general, however, that was too naive. Hey, don't run away. Beathop was a formidable insect general. In an instant, he closed the distance between them and hovered in front of Gabil. However, there was no way to escape the situation. The only path to survival was to fight and emerge victorious, and Gabil had made up his mind. There is no shortage of opponents. I am Gabil. Rimuru-sama has entrusted me with the title of Draco Lord. Gabil declared boldly and faced off against Beethop. Karian sprinted across the battlefield, pursued by an insect general with spider-like limbs covering its back. I am Abart. I will kill you. Cut the talk. Don't speak of things you can't accomplish. As they charged at each other, a fierce battle ensued. Karian's divine strength was impressive. If it had been a one-on-one duel without considering the future, he would have unleashed a burst roar and defeated Abart long ago. However, this was a battlefield where other insect generals were present, so he couldn't reveal his secret techniques. When facing a truly formidable opponent, Karian would give his all without considering the consequences. But instinctively, Karian had no doubt about his victory. Abart's power level was less than half of Karian's. Like other insect generals, Abart possessed a combat-oriented ability structure, but so did Karian. In this battle, Karian held the advantage. Midley encountered Saril, whose body was drenched in a seemingly poisonous liquid. Needless to say, his reddish-purple exoskeleton was composed of alenium. From his tail seeped a deadly poison that could kill anyone it touched. Saril, the venomous scorpion, proved to be a challenging opponent for those who excelled in hand-to-hand combat. However, that didn't apply to Midley. That's a problem. Kekek, you're an unlucky to stand before me. Unlucky? You seem to have misunderstood, so let me clarify. In battle, luck is not a factor. It's true that phenomena like lucky punches and underdogs defeating stronger opponents exist in the world. However, such accomplishments are the result of hard work, honing one's unique weapons that can be used against a superior foe. Reducing them to mere luck diminishes their value, doesn't it? What are you trying to say? Let me put it simply. I am strong. And the moment those words left his mouth, Midley vanished. No, rather, with an instant move so swift that Saril couldn't perceive it, Midley closed the distance in an instant. Saril was sent flying, a result of Midley's fist connecting with his face. It stings a bit, but you get used to it, Midley muttered as his fist emitted a purple smoke. It was Saril's poison. However, Midley's entire body was protected by an energy barrier from the battle will. The poison was deadly enough to corrode it, but Midley paid no heed. What's wrong with you? You've been poisoned by me, and you don't care. It's my fighting spirit. If I couldn't handle this much, I wouldn't be Milim Sama's sparring partner. At first glance, Midley didn't appear very strong, so Saril was perplexed. No, that's absurd. There's no way he can strike my exoskeleton with his bare hands and remain unharmed. Then, what in the world is happening? Despite his thoughts, Saril still clung to the belief that his victory was assured. There was no way a mere frail human could harm him, an insect general. But that was a naive assumption. Midley, although he appeared human, possessed the true nature of a true dragonoot, just like Gabil. Moreover, normally, Midley concealed his abilities completely with battle will, but his power level was actually twice that of Gabil's. Now, facing Saril, Midley would reveal his true capabilities. Geld returned to the front lines and addressed his subordinates. Our task is to ensure no enemies slip through. At that moment, Geld's gaze settled on a particular spot. There, a figure sat atop a colossal centipede measuring over 30 meters in length. Judging by the overwhelming presence, he deduced that it was undoubtedly one of the insect generals. I'll handle that one, Geld muttered, and several of his subordinates nodded. Good luck. With those words of encouragement behind him, Geld took a step forward. Esprit grasped her sword while Milim called out to her as she headed towards the window. Are you going? Yes, Carrera-sama seems to be in trouble, so I thought I'd lend a hand, even if in a small way. Esprit replied casually, as if she were going for a leisurely stroll. From her observation point, Insect General Zess, who was engaged with Carrera, displayed formidable combat skills. Additionally, Peliod was blocking Carrera's magic, putting her on the defensive. Esprit could no longer stand idly by just because she was weaker. Therefore, without hesitation, she drew her concealed sword. Esprit found it intriguing for a demon to specialize in swordsmanship, so she secretly worked on developing magical swordplay. It wasn't fully ready for practical use, but now was not the time to consider that. Peliod's anti-magic ability was so potent that Esprit couldn't break through it. It was a humiliating fact, but a fact nonetheless. Thus, she decided to rely on her magic sword instead of magic. Well, it seems the enemy isn't concerned about one-on-one battles, so we need to take action, right? That's why I'm going to step out for a while. Go and give it your best. And thus, with Milim bidding her farewell, Esprit ventured forth onto the battlefield. Now, only Milim and Ober remained in the castle tower of Frey's towering pride. Well then, Milim-sama, I shall also head out now. You're no longer injured. I apologize for causing you worry. I have already made a full recovery, so please don't fret. You're quite stubborn. It's just my nature, and as you may have already noticed, it's the source of that sticky sensation shrouding the battlefield, isn't it? Yes, Insect Lord Zelanus is incredibly formidable. I'm afraid I am no match for him, so please exercise extreme caution. Ideally, Milim would never have to step into action. However, Ober surmised that if Zelanus were to make a move, they would be powerless to stop him. Reluctantly, they had no choice but to rely on Milim. Hence, Obera desired to eliminate as many enemy generals as possible, as quickly as possible. Just moments ago, her eyes caught sight of a lone insect general roaming freely. It was Tishorn, armed with blade-like hands. Obera decided to take them out and utilize the momentum to support the others. Time was of the essence. Obera aimed to eliminate as many generals as she could before Zelanus could make his move. Based on my assessment, there are some dangerous ones out there. Obera, please help ensure the safe return of our comrades. As you command. Obera felt a surge of delight. How wonderful it was to be commanded by her lord. Unlike in previous battles fought out of duty, this time she felt her strength welling up from the depths of her heart. I shall go. I'll be eagerly awaiting the outcome of the battle. With Milim's encouragement, Obera also set off for the battlefield. And thus, the Great War grew even more intense.